What's going on, guys? I'm your host Tuan and we are back with another video. And today, it's the beginning at the end, chapter 237 and 238. Let's get to it. We pick up with Arthur, Gentry, and Albo being questioned by the council. They're wondering, just like we are, who broke in? And how could they have gotten past all of the security? Arthur and the others all told the same story. Arthur arrives to question Reyes, plays a prank on Albo, then goes to wake Gentry. Gentry then escorts them to the holding cells, only to find out Ento, Reyes, and Uto, they're all dead, and Uto seems to have broken out of his cell somehow. So the council had no choice but to release them. The unexpected deaths of Reyes and Uto would be enough to cause panic both inside and outside of the castle. Holding a major prisoner, they created a certain semblance of power and control for the people of Dickerton. Although the council didn't grieve Reyes, the loss of information was a huge blow. To prevent chaos, the council did what countless other leaders would have done when faced with backlash or setbacks. They covered it up, which goes to show you, during times of war, there is no good or evil, only the winner, and whoever the winner is the one who writes the story, or who writes history. As the chapter continues, we find out all the locations of the current lances, with General Aya being stationed in Eleanor, while Micah is investigating the radical group in Darv, and General Varay is fortifying major cities across the western coast, while General Barian is scattering the northern mountains for any signs of retainers or scythes. Learning all this information is crucial, because now we understand why he's having Arthur stay at the main castle. All the other lances are across the country, which leaves the council vulnerable to attacks. As we continue, we see SYLVIE and ELLIE are doing a little girl talk, but Arthur isn't included in the club. The group then transitions to the training area to practice their new spells. But before Arthur can even react, SYLVIE fires off a concentrated blast, which Arthur easily deflects, but not without a little bit of a burn. This is what we learned that SYLVIE learned the new spell from watching ELLIE, but hers is vastly different compared to Ellie's. Her arrows are more dense, almost solid, and it doesn't disappear upon impact. But the raw power of the spell isn't that high, and the composition of both spells is entirely different. We then learn that dragons can only manipulate pure mana and aether, but SYLVIE is having trouble accessing her core to better control her powers. But Arthur, being the good father that he is, doesn't let SYLVIE finish her sentence and ignites a storm of fire as he tells her to be more versatile in her control over mana. He then makes it rain down fire on SYLVIE, but SYLVIE got that dog in her, guys, as she creates a barrier, stopping the blast with ease. Arthur then attacks again, but this time he tells SYLVIE to try and block it by creating individual panels. But as she blocks the attack, Arthur flash steps behind her. But before he can even land a blow, SYLVIE's innate defense is kicked in, forming scales on her arm. SYLVIE then says in her dragon form, she's able to use more mana, but in a less refined way, and if Arthur had went all the way out, she would have lost an arm or a leg. Arthur then runs a few more tests with SYLVIE until late in the evening. At this point, they forgot about poor little old ELLIE. Compared to these monsters, she's just a coughing baby. We then transition into chapter 238, with Arthur telling ELLIE to jump in the field and get folded like her little niece just did. But before their fight even starts, SYLVIE tells Arthur go easy on ELLIE because she's trying really hard to impress him. Arthur tells her that's no fun though, as he punches the ground and sends a boulder flying at ELLIE, but ELLIE destroys it with relative ease. Not bad either. Not bad, baby sis. Okay, not bad. I see you. They both begin laying in on each other, with Arthur raining down fire on ELLIE, but man, the girl is holding her ground as she starts rapid firing arrows back at Arthur, knocking all the firebolts out the sky. But Arthur isn't done. He then adds ice pheasants to the mix to keep ELLIE distracted, before he fucking conjures a fire rune bear. This is the most big brother shit ever. But ELLIE isn't backing down, as she fires a piercing shot through the flaming bear, completely destroying it. Naturally, I'm shocked, Arthur's shocked, she's shocked, we shocked. Damn, ELLIE, okay, I see you. But Arthur holding shit down. He tells her that she did alright, and to basically try harder. But that's when SYLVIE chimes in and tells ELLIE Arthur lying. He's very proud of her growth. But before she can even finish her sentence, Arthur cuts her off and tells her no expressing his inner thoughts. But as the training comes to an end, ELLIE asks Arthur can she join the war efforts since she's improved so much. But Arthur tells her no, since it's not his choice and mom and dad should be here to talk with her about it. But he does agree to take her on a mission, and if she does well, he'll vouch for her. But the celebration is cut short when the Queen of Elves arrives, Queen Marielle. We learn that from time to time she checks in on the children training here, And she goes on to say that she's sorry for eavesdropping on their conversation. She then tells Arthur Ellie is brave, and that just like the other people who live on this continent, she just wants to help. And she tells him during his earlier years with Tessa, they were just as brave. And looking back, she realizes how peaceful it was. The Queen then takes her leave. And over the course of 4 days, Arthur trained Sylvie and Ellie, and learned that he had new limitations to explore with powers of his own, as he sends stone soldiers at Ellie. But her control over pure mana without using her reserves has vastly improved thanks to this training. Arthur then redirects his attention towards Sylvie and fires off an Omega beam at the girl. And let me tell you, that was this panel right here, insane. Even though Arthur and Sylvie didn't practice any team-up moves, the individual growth of the girls is phenomenal. As the chapter comes to an end, we find out that a massive horde of monsters has broken through the main line of defense, the wall, and they're heading straight for the castle.